Welcome to the Stories and Maker's Nest children's program from Leaside United Church and Rosedale United Church in Toronto. My name is Rebecca and I'll be leading our program. I'm so glad that you've joined me today. Today we're going to learn about someone named Elijah and about how God cares for each and every one of us. Let's get started. For our craft activity today, you will need a popsicle stick, or if you don't have those, just a stick from outside will do. Construction paper, tape, glue, scissors, clear cling wrap, and markers. You will also need your Read, Wonder, Listen Bible if you have one. But if you don't worry, we'll be doing the story together. If you're watching this video on YouTube, this would be a great time to pause the video, collect everything you need, and come back and restart when you are ready. We light the Christ candle each week to remind us that God is always with us wherever we may go. We start, as we do each week, with our centering and grounding prayer. And we say this prayer each week as a way to get ourselves ready for the rest of the program and to thank God for all of the gifts in our lives. So, if you know this prayer, then you can say it along with me. And if not, you can just follow the actions that we do together. Dear God, we thank you for today. We thank you for tomorrow. We thank you for our brains that help us think, our bodies that help us move, and our hearts that help us love. Amen. Today we will be hearing the first half of a story about Elijah, and we'll hear the second part of the story next week. Elijah was a prophet, which means that he was close to God and shared the things that God told him with others. Sometimes people did not like what Elijah told them, so they tried to hurt him. But God was with him through it all. Let's take a look at what happens. Elijah runs away. Page 111 in the Read, Wonder, Listen Bible. The desert is a dangerous place. You can be scorched by the sun, freeze at night, or die of thirst. You can be confused by a mirage that tricks you into seeing what's not there. You can go out of your mind with loneliness. But sometimes even the desert seems like a better choice than where you are. The prophet Elijah fled into the desert. It seemed better than being hunted by Queen Jezebel. Ever since Elijah defeated her prophets of Baal, she pursued him in the way a hyena chases its prey, determined to kill. Now, prophets are supposed to be close to God. God whispers to them, and they know things other people do not. But Elijah did not feel close to God. He could not hear God speaking to him. He felt tired to the bone, hollow, afraid. So he went into the desert. Better to lie down and die there than to be devoured by Jezebel. Elijah fell asleep. When he woke up, he saw a crackling fire and smelled bread baking on a hot stone. "Get up and eat, Elijah," said a voice. "You have a journey ahead of you and you'll need your strength. Go deeper into the desert. Go all the way to the holy mountain. God has something to show you." In the beginning of the story, Elijah is really upset. He's tired, hopeless, and ready to give up. He feels like God is far away, and he is afraid. We all feel some of these emotions at times. We might feel afraid or upset. But this story shows us that no matter how bad things seem, and how far away you might feel from God, God is still there and cares for you. When Elijah wakes up, he sees that God is still with him and has cared for him with fire and bread. And just like Elijah, God is always with you and cares for you very much. For our craft today, we're going to be making a detective magnifying glass. So to start, all you need is your construction paper in whatever color you have, your popsicle stick, and a marker. Now, with the popsicle stick, this is going to help support the base of our magnifying glass to make it stronger. So a popsicle stick is a great choice, but if you don't happen to have that in your house, that's okay. A wooden skewer works, or even a stick from outside that's a similar length and not too thick. That would probably work too. So just something that's a little harder than paper so that you can hold it up like your magnifying glass. And then I'm going to put my stick here, not too close to the edge because I want to draw my circle on top afterwards. And using my marker, I'm going to trace around it with a little extra space on the edges. Just like that. And once I've got that, I'll take my popsicle stick and set it to the side, and I'm going to draw my lens. So I'm just going to make something that's like a circle, about this big. It doesn't have to be perfect, just something like that. And then you can cut that out using your scissors. There. And now that that's cut out, just keep this piece to the side because we'll be needing it again in a second. And then we want to draw the inside circle so that we can cut out some and put the clear film wrap over so that we can look through our magnifying glass. So we're just going to draw another circle on the inside with a little bit of room for the edges, like that. And then cut that out. And the way to cut out something on the inside without cutting in is to give it a little bend and snip on the bend, and then you can cut from there. And that's a little tricky, so if you want to get some support from someone who's maybe a bit older or an adult in your household, that works too, just to get this middle bit out. And now you can see I have something that looks like a magnifying glass. And now we're going to use this same piece that I just had, and we're going to trace this entire thing one more time. We need 2 of them. So if you just follow the lines of your first magnifying glass and trace the second one, and then we'll cut it out afterwards. All right, once you've got these 2 cut, you can see that since we traced one off the other, they kind of go on top of each other like that. And now we're going to use this popsicle stick to create the handle, just like this. So to start, you need your glue, and glue one side of your popsicle stick, and place that on your magnifying glass. And then you want to glue the other side. And even if you can get a little bit of the edges of the paper, that's good too. And you can place your second piece on top. And push it down. And what that does is gives us a sturdy handle for our magnifying glass. And now we can move on to the actual clear glass part of our magnifying glass that you can look through. So I have some cling wrap from the kitchen here. And this is just clear plastic wrap. Most kitchens have it. If you aren't sure where it is in your household, you can maybe ask someone who may know. And we want to cut a piece off that will be just right for our magnifying glass. So I'm going to start with this corner here and just push this to the side and see how that fits. And I have too much here. It may be hard to see on the camera, and I apologize for that, but there's too much going over the edges. So I'm just going to trim it until it's about the right size. And this can be a bit of a tricky material to work with. So as always, if you get stuck, it's great to ask for help. All right, let's see how that fits now. That's just about there, just one more little chop. Now you can see as I bring it up to the camera that that just about fits perfectly. So what we're going to do is pull back the two papers from one another and place the cling wrap in there. And then this is actually a job that is best done with tape instead of glue, is take some pieces of tape and attach it onto your magnifying glass. There, and now that I have it taped on one side, I'm going to use my tape once again just to close the gap over top of the two so that it is all one material and not separate like it is right now. So I'm just going to tape over the edges on the whole thing. Oh, this piece is a bit long, so I'm just going to give it a snip. Until I have a magnifying glass, just like that. And you can see there's the clear part that you look through and the base that you can hold it on. And now that my magnifying glass is ready, I can use it to look around and see where I see God. And in our story, Elijah felt very far away from God. He couldn't see or hear him anywhere. But the funny thing about our magnifying glass is it reminds us that God is everywhere, around us, within us, and even when we don't see it using our handy dandy magnifying glass, God is there and cares for us. So I'm going to write on the base of my magnifying glass, God cares for me. And you can do something similar, or if you don't know how to write yet, that's perfectly all right. You can draw maybe a picture of a heart or something else that reminds you that God cares for you. Even though you might not be able to see it through this little tiny magnifying glass, God is still there and cares very much about you. As we leave this time together, may we give thanks for God's never-ending care that is always with us, even when we can't see it right away. See you next time!